Like many others, I'd always been led to believe that in that moment between life and death, all life flashes before you, showing wrongs in a new light, and somehow addressing a lifetime of wrongs into some kind of neat and wrapped up little flicker of inspiration. It sounds nice, and it certainly makes a good movie. But it wasn't my reality. Perhaps, for some, life does flash before their eyes in that moment. For it may only be a moment on the human level, but when it's happening, it really is a very long moment. In my 49 years to date, it is the moment that I can remember most how it felt. I can still feel it. But it wasn't my life flashing before me. No, it was one simple thought. I'm going to die right here, right now. I have to say, it was a sobering thought. And perhaps, had my life flashed before me, it may have been less effective than those simple words. I hadn't really valued my life to date, but in that moment, it was all I wanted. In that moment, life, not the things in it, but life itself, reminded me that without it, there really wasn't anything else to be had. Meanwhile, all around me was this huge sound. With the sound was a vision of grey and orange. I was engulfed in smoke and flames in my very own home at 6 o'clock on Sunday morning, September 9th, 2001. My life didn't flash before me in that moment. But in the months to come, my life would flash before me in a different way. My life would flash before me to remind me that how I was is not how I could go on. Something had to change. And given all my years of trying to change from the outside, I became very aware that any said change would have to come from the inside. There was no opting out on this one. I'd distracted myself long enough, thinking life was just here for the things that it had, rather than realizing that life was the very vessel that carried us through, that without it, there was nothing else. Without it, there's no me. And as much as I might fight it, one day, life will take me. But in the meantime, today, in that moment, in the fire, life gave me a second invitation. Life offered me a way to do it differently. An option to have a different perspective. And that's how this story began.